Hi, I'm Joseph. My dad is the mayor of Rosemont, and my grandpa was our founding mayor. You're probably wondering why we have an animatronic figure of our founding mayor here in our museum. Well, I'm here to show you why. In Rosemont, there's always been the desire to tell the story of our town because of how remarkable it is. The problem is that there's never been an opportunity or a place to do so. Now, a couple years ago, we moved into a new village hall space, and after putting everything else that we needed in the building, we realized that there was a pretty sizable portion of the building that we didn't have anything for. We decided this was the perfect opportunity to tell the story of our town in a new museum space. When I was first told about the plans for this museum, I knew that we only had one chance to do it right, and I started to think of ways that I could leave my lasting impression on the project. One of my first ideas stemmed from the Hall of Presidents at Disney World, where I thought we could get a life-sized animatronic figure of my grandfather, as it was his leadership as mayor that laid down the foundation for what Rosemont is today. I approached my father with this idea, and initially,
I said, "Are you nuts? You know what one of those things costs?"
we both thought it was unrealistic. But after doing some research, we found Sally Dark Rides, a Florida-based company that has created theme park attractions all across the world.
One of the things that's interesting about museum projects compared to TV commercials and corporate stuff that I used to do 20 years ago is that the timelines are much longer. And the reason that the timelines are much longer is because there's an extended design phase in which all sorts of ideas are kind of thrown at the wall and you see what actually works out. Most of those ideas originate with the designers and sometimes the client and all that, but in this particular case, the idea for this animatronic of Mayor Don Stevens came from the family, which was really fascinating.
We found that it wasn't as outlandish as what I thought it might be, and I thought it was something that was a cool idea. We talked to some of our friends that have some connections at Disney and put this all together, hooking us up with Sally Dark Rides, who is the maker of the man behind us.
I got an email from someone at Disney to ask us if we would be interested in doing a lifelike form for a museum in Chicago. So I called to find out what it's all about, because we do love creating real life characters.
What does it take to push the animatronic past looking like a theme park character and more towards the likeness that was what he was?
Well, I think it's all in the details, right? It's the small details that you can't overlook. The shape of his eyes, the shape of his eyebrows, what is his facial hair? When we're talking about the mayor here, it's difficult. I've never met him. None of us have met him. When I come in and see just photographs of him, the more the merrier, obviously. 3/4 turn, side views, front views, all that information is very helpful for us to learn who he is. The most challenging is piecing all the pictures together. It's a very difficult process to do realistic sculpting, likeness sculpting, I should call it. That's the real challenge. And we were able to take those black and white and some color photos, try to create a digital sculpt, which is very similar to the one that's behind me over here.
We stayed on this through the process, the different renditions that we were seeing electronically. And then I thought that it was important for Joe and I to go down to Jacksonville and see the mold and to see how this thing has all come together.
You guys liked it, approved it, so that's the version that we actually went to mold with and made parts from.
Also, listening to your dad talk about him, he was a larger than life person. He had a lot of energy and wit and humor, and those things came into play as we thought about his image and his head and how he should look. We talked about putting a little sparkle in his eye and little things like that as well.
I think it kind of threw us all for a loop because none of us had ever done animatronics before. And so as the media producer, I'm not going to do the robotics programming, of course, but it was pretty clear to me just intuitively that the audio was going to be something that I was going to be responsible for trying to usher through into something that was usable. I ended up having to go through a whole process to get permission, and oftentimes there's permission from the organization and permissions from the family. Well, guess what? That all actually could come together in one signature from Mayor Brad Stevens. The folks here at the village started writing scripts based largely on actual comments that Mayor Don Stevens had made So then the question was, all right, well, what are we going to build the model of? And Don Stevens is everywhere in the media back then. We listened to some of the things where he was on WBBM doing interviews. We have a lot of TV interviews. None of those quite seemed right. But what the folks at the Village were aware of was this appearance that he had from either, it was in 2005 or 2006, at the City Club of Chicago at a podium talking to the press and civic leaders and business leaders about Rosemont. And I immediately recognized about 2 minutes into this that he had exactly the right tone of voice. We ended up running all of these, I ran this hour-long performance through the AI clone, and then it built this model. And about 4 hours later, I got an email saying that the model was built and would I like to try it out.
Welcome to my office. Squeeze in. Don't be shy. I always have time for the people of Rosemont.
Made the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
I know what he sounded like because of the various videos online, but seeing that we could just create something out of the blue like that and make a guy that's been gone for nearly 20 years just come to life using AI, it was amazing seeing that happen. And when the full speech was put together and all the refinements were made to make sure that everything was the right tone, it's perfect.
You know, the voice is spot on. A lot of the mannerisms, you know, with the head movements and really just, it's just a remarkable likeness. When people come in here, let's hope that they're not thinking they're gonna, you know, see Dad sitting in the chair, but it's real close. And I think they did a great job. You know, we've got to spend a little time. His former hairdresser is gonna come in and fix up the hair and really put a little bit more life to it. But I think that when people come in here, they're really going to be overwhelmed with the way that it looks and the way that it acts and speaks.
Once that was locked in and both staff here and the mayor and his family, they were happy with it, we went ahead and then released that to Sally Darkrides, and they then used that as the basis of all of the timing for all of the robotics that are based on that.
We understood the importance of it and the amount of emotion that went into this decision. And thank you, Joseph, because it was, you know, fundamentally your thought and idea. And so we talked about that. Todd and I talked about it. We talked about it with the team. You know, we become emotionally connected to the project as well. And I think when it was done, we were very proud to represent your grandfather through an animatronic. And we hope that when he was in his natural setting, his office that they built for him, that everyone would see, yeah, that's him.
To see it come out of the crate and to be placed here and what it looks like right now is just absolutely phenomenal. And again, the credit goes to the kid, because I don't think I would have thought anything about this without him bringing it up.
If I've learned anything about working with Rosemont for 2 years now, it's that this village will try anything and try to do its best and keep making adjustments, and you know, we'll see where it all lands. In particular, one of the things that has been wonderful is seeing Joseph take such a hold of this. He's a smart kid and very observant and astute at kind of giving input without it being like overly obnoxious, which is really unusual in a kid that age. But it was really, really cool to have him a part of this, because I kind of feel like multiple generations all got their say, and well, here we are.
Obviously, the short history, you know, 70 years to a guy like you or Joseph is a long time. But in 70 years, the growth that this community has taken, it's amazing. And none of this could happen without the vision and the thought process that came from that guy sitting behind us. And it's really, it's one of a kind and remarkable.
While it's good to be able to hear about the stories throughout the other exhibits in the museum, when you're able to hear it from the man himself at the end, it leaves more of a lasting impression, because he actually lived through these things and he's able to tell it to you face to face. And that kind of turns it into a more overarching experience that really leaves you with the hardships of the town in its early days through to its more successful times later on.
I couldn't have said it better.
Come back and visit anytime. I've always got time for the people.